Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. The January 6th narrative is falling apart. We had a huge bombshell break this week about the January 6th pipe bomber. The FBI declares that they have captured the lead suspect in this mysterious case, but one of the top senators in the Republican Party says it's just the tip of the iceberg, and there is something much bigger and darker coming about the January 6th plot. Before we get into the story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, a top GOP senator named Markwayne Mullen, he spoke to podcaster Benny Johnson and said that he has been in hearings on Capitol Hill, and we only know about 95% about this January 6th pipe bomb plot. Now, the lead suspect in this case, Brian Cole Jr., was apprehended on Thursday. He's a 30-year-old black man whose father works for a bail bonds company, and his family, his business that he worked for, sued the Trump administration, claiming discrimination and that illegal aliens were having their rights taken away from them. But they lost that case, and so the media is fixated on the political views of this alleged suspect, Brian Cole Jr. And according to reports and sources, he confessed to being a Trump supporter who was upset about the 2020 election being stolen. Well, this doesn't add up, to say the least, because he planned it at least as early as March of 2020. Last time I checked, that's months and months and months ahead of the election. And it's not clear how this dummy pipe bomb plot that he allegedly carried out at the RNC and the DNC, how is that going to help Donald Trump? It was timed serendipitously to coincide with the election objections that were really Trump's only chance of staying in office. They laid there for about 12 hours, and then the Capitol Police discovered them just in time for those election objections. Well, it's all very convenient, and we want some clarity on this because it looks like the FBI under Joe Biden's presidency, it had more than enough information to nail this guy. And his family has come out with some more information that really disputes the narrative that's being crafted around Cole Jr. So let's listen to Markwayne Mullen, and he says there are some very startling developments coming in this case. Weigh in with your thoughts after the video. We always appreciate you watching at Explain America.
What will happen next? I know that you're very, very close with Cash. You were one of the people, you were the guy who actually led Cash's nomination process in the Senate. You know, a lot of these victories, and I view this as a victory. I look at the affidavit and I'm like, man, you know, this is demonstrable. How are you ever going to be able to defend this in court? I mean, if they have all this evidence on the guy, and apparently we're only seeing like 5%, 2% of what they actually have, like then you know, you're going to have a tough time. You know, this is the guy, this is the individual in the backpack, you know, this is it. And so let him prove that case. What will happen next? I mean, what else is they keep teasing that there's so much more. Well,
there is.
What
else? What's the American people, and probably you and I both, kind of get impatient because they're like, let's go. Yeah. We got to remember it's been 10 months. Look at what they've done in 10 months. But they also got to keep the credibility of the agency, of the Attorney General and the FBI. They got to keep the credibility out there, so they don't want to go out there and be Adam Schiff or Mr. Fang Fang and say, we got the smoking gun, and make a bunch of promises that they never follow up on. So what you're seeing is a very methodical approach to the way they roll out information. They keep it pretty close held, which I get people get upset by that, but they're running an investigation. And then once they do it, they drop it. And then everybody's like, holy smokes, we've seen this 3 times already in the last 10 months. And there is more coming. I was in a briefing yesterday that you and I spoke about offline, which will be more to come. And I learned something new on that. And I have been working on this for 2+ years. Actually, it's almost been 3 years. And so, but I don't know the time frame on that when that comes out. We know we want to have something, and I know I'm being deceptive here, so give me give me a little bit of credit on your audience, but Benny does know what I'm talking about. But we're being very methodical on how we roll that out. But we'd love to have something out on that, early spring if we're ready to go. But it's a very big case that's been covered up by the previous administration.